Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another breakfast with Blaha. Today I'm having fat-free Greek yogurt, almond butter, and milled flax seeds. Breakfast of champions right there. Let's talk about specialty bars. Get people who ask this a lot. What specialty bars would I recommend people buy for their home gym, and in what order? And it's a good question because I have a ton of bars, obviously. At this point, I own 15 barbells. Most of you don't want to spend that. Most of you don't have the space for that. Let's be realistic. But I do believe everyone needs specialty bars in their home gym because you don't have access to all the stuff you have at a gym. And we need variation. We need diversity in our training to not only make the best gains, but to avoid overuse, right? Be as strong as possible with the least injuries possible. And at least if you're at a big commercial gym, oftentimes they have a specialty bar or two, but they have all these machines, they have dumbbells, cables. They have enough variation you can get by with Olympic bars, right? They have enough variation. Your home gym, you're not going to have all that. I mean, if you have adjustable dumbbells that are heavy enough to be useful, you're usually pretty blessed in your home gym. All right. So what do we usually have? Specialty bars, bands. Those are our go-tos. Now, in a perfect world summit, you really need lower back stuff. All right. And I hate having to stress that. It may be worth its own video. I deal with that with clients a lot who are resistant to that. You need some sort of hyperextension at home. But let's set that aside. Talk about bars. Bars, they're cheap. They don't take up that much space. You can stick them in a corner if you only have a couple. So what do we recommend? I used to, because I was like, well, it brings the most diversity, was a Buffalo bar. Now I'm going to say Buffalo bar is number 3. I used to always say get that first. When you look at it, though, it doesn't bring as much diversity for the upper or the lower body. It's just it can do both. Where's our real bang for our buck? Multi-grit bars. And I'd probably recommend, if you could only get one multi-grit bar, get an angled one. All right, get one with multiple angles. Titan makes them cheap. You guys can get them in Europe cheap. Strength Shop makes them really cheap. They're available over there too. But Titan here in the US, they're ultra cheap. They're rated over 1,000 pounds. They're going to be cheaper than your power bar. A good power bar is going to cost you more. Okay, so if this is for your upper body, it brings a ton of diversity because you can use it on all your presses. And it's a lot. It's not just like the Buffalo bar where we added a couple inches of range of motion. You can barely row with it or anything else. It's basically for benching. Only thing you're going to use that Buffalo bar for is benching for your upper body. As far as the upper body goes, it has some lower body uses. Multi-grit bar, use it for all of our pressing, right? Flat, incline, decline. Of course, you can use a Buffalo bar for that, but you can use it for overhead pressing. Okay, it's a vastly different angle. Takes stress off the shoulders. It's all of our pressing more tricep dominant, but it's easier on your shoulders, and that's the big deal with it when it comes to variation and overuse. Take stress off the shoulders. And I used to be like, oh, it's okay, and I only need it for certain populations. Now I've come to the longer I coach, understand the multi-grit bar is one of the greatest barbells ever invented. It really is. It brings so much to the table. But what else can we do? We can change, we can row with it, we can pull up with it. If you don't have an attachment for your rack with neutral grip handles, you can hang it up in your rack. You can do pull-ups with it. With each one of the grips, you'll have 3 or 4 different grips for the neutral grip. That gives you a ton of variation. Okay? You're not just limited to normal straight bar pull-ups and chin-ups anymore. You can row with it, completely change our rows. So every single major upper body lift can be done with the multi-grit bar. All angles of pressing, all angles of pulling. It's actually not bad for tricep extensions, hammer curls, JM presses. Every basic movement pattern we can do with it. All right, that brings a hell of a lot to the table. What about lower body? Safety squat bar. Hands down. Hands down. One of the easiest squats on your shoulders, one of the easiest squats on recovery. Build more upper back. Works just as good for lower body as any other bar. Massive change in the nature of your squat though. Okay. Brings a whole lot to the table. But it's not just squats. Let's come back over and look at the rest. Good mornings. All right. It gives us an entirely new good morning. We've changed the moment arms dramatically. Created a much longer moment arm on the good morning. And we can do good mornings with no shoulder inflammation. So that's the other thing. Both of these bars I've listed, what do? Cut down on shoulder overuse. They can both be used for multiple lifts. Now granted, it's hard to get more than one lift at all for lower body with any barbell. But we can do our squatting and our good mornings. How many lifts does this give us extra? It's not just back squats, it's all your box squatting, your speed squats, pen squats. We have a whole new list of squats we can do with this other bar. That is a big change, and it's easier on the shoulders. We have an entirely new dimension to the good morning with it. And we can easily come up with 4 different good mornings with this bar. Wide stance, narrow stance, stretch, reflex off pins, right? It's 4 right there. That's a lot. Brings a lot to the table. Those are your first 2 bars. And they're usually priced well, although a good safety squat bar is getting more expensive. Don't buy a cheap one. Multi-grit bars are cheap. So that's in that order. That's what you need, guys. Right? Multi-grit bar, preferably an angled one. Safety squat bar. What about a 3rd bar? You got money and room for a 3rd bar. That's when you get a buffalo bar. Because now we again have both upper and lower. Completely changes the nature of your squat in a way that's easier on shoulders, but it's closer to a traditional barbell squat. You're going to use the same weight. All right, got that. Totally different bench press. We now have the ability to do a bench press with a deeper range of motion. So it adds a lot for your squatting and your benching as a 3rd bar. And again, it works upper and lower, unlike a lot of the other bars that are only useful for one. But this gives us the most variation. I would say in order, football bar tied with safety squat bar. Those are your first 2. People say, well, which one should I get first? I don't know. Do you want to focus more on upper body or lower body? Right? Where are you struggling the most? Your shoulders hurting on your benching? Or do you need to get better at good mornings faster? Is your upper back weak as far as your squatting goes? That's where you pick which one you get first. I'd get both as soon as possible. Then your 3rd choice should probably be a buffalo bar of some type. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.